torsion bar adjustment. Where do we begin? So, check the tyres. Now these tyres are not the best condition. So how accurate they are is, well, they're not, are they? And there's probably too much air in these fronts. I think it's, what is it, 23 in the front and 26 in the back. And I've got 26 in the back. I've probably got about the same in the front. So there's probably a bit too much air in these. I'm amazed they've not exploded. But, you know, I've had this car a year and they've never gone down, which is quite amazing. I'll be able to run those for another few years yet. Anyway, I've been round and measured, and of course I haven't got all the bits on the glass on the car. There's glass missing, there's no fuel in it, there's no rear wings. Well, there's one on the roof, but not where it should be. Lots of bits still missing. So I've put a heavy toolbox in the back, and so I've got quite a few gallons of antifreeze and stuff. So I've loaded up the back to give it a bit of weight. Not that it actually went, you know, I couldn't see it go down any on the springs. There's the steering column on the car, not where it should be. So there's still lots of things that are miles off where it should be. But anyway, I've been round and measured, and these are really useful for this sort of thing. Oversized calipers. So just stick it under the car and squeeze it, and that's your measurement. And trying to measure it with a tape measure under the car is not great. So, lifted the car and let it fall slowly, and then push the car down and let it come back up, and these are the measurements I've obtained. So, push down, lift it up. This is the difference, 16mm, 15mm on the front. Did the same on the back, and I'm getting 5 or 6mm difference there. Now the book says that under the boxes where the front of the springs mount should be the same, and I've got a mean difference of 1mm difference. That's good enough for me. Now the front, it says under the front cross member it should measure 11¼ 285 centimeters, sorry, 285 millimeters. So I'm 20 millimeters too high at the front, but the tyres are a bit over pressure anyway, and there's loads of bit missing, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to touch it for the moment. I'll wait till everything's back on the car, then I'll go through it again. But that's good enough to, I feel that's good enough to set the body up to, because it's fairly flat. I mean, there's 5mm difference left to right here, and 1 or 2mm difference here. But I think that's good enough. Okay, go have a look at camber angle now, and that's adjusted by adding or subtracting shims from here. And I've come up with this gadget here, little spirit level magnetic base, really cheap these. And you can adjust that knob there, adjusts that center bubble. So I'll set this up on a known vertical, another spirit level. So here I've got a metre long spirit level, and that's level. And put this on there, and get the bubble at 0. You can actually pretty much do this by eye if you look at look at that, I'll just take it off level. You can see the one end cocking up. If I just do that, I'm just going to do that by eye. That looks level to me. Put it back onto there. I am about a third of a degree off with that. So, can I do this one-handed? There we are. That's bang on there. So then, of course, on a lot of wheels, you can put it straight onto the disc or the rotor, which obviously I can't do that. But what I can do is hold on. So will this give a reasonably accurate indication? So that's level. Push hard against the ring. There's a little bubble here, so try and get that bubble's level. That bubble's level, and that's showing a negative camber of 2.4 degrees. I'll just try it on the other side, see what that says. So this is what I've got. I've got minus 2.4, minus 2.5. And I haven't really read the instructions yet, but I think this is roughly what you got to do. So I've jacked up the front wheel, and according to the book, it says plus half to minus 1. So I've got to reduce mine by 2 degrees to be somewhere sort of in the middle. So of course when you jack the wheel up, this all changes. So if I go back to number 1 where I've marked it there, that's 1 o'clock. And if I set this to 0, let's put this one on the top, just get it right. Of course, it doesn't take into account that the wheels might be a bit buckled, which I'm sure they are. So 0 there, we'll just try it all the way around. See, that's saying half a degree negative. That's saying 3.5 degrees negative. and that's saying half a degree negative. That sounds like quite a lot, doesn't it? Now here's an unscientific way of looking at that. When you do that, it actually doesn't look too bad. So whizzing around there, this is what I've got. So I'm a bit out, but I mean these are old wheels, and I've not cleaned the splines or anything like that. So I'm a little bit out, but these are all. So setting the gauge back to 0 here, and then going through the quarters, these are the readings I've got. So if I was, say, 1 degree negative, I think we need to pull the front of the wheel, sorry, the top of the wheel towards us. So that would mean adding shims. And if we want to make up a degree, I would need to add 2 1/16 shims. So that'd be 4 shims in total, wouldn't it? 2 each side. And that, I would think, would bring me back to normal. But I'm not going to do all that till I get all the body back on and everything. But I just wonder if, I mean, this is all just for initial setting up, not for proper road use. But I just wonder if we can measure caster angle roughly using this gauge. It's a handy little gadget. Doing a trial fit of this steering column. This bracket I nicked off the other side, and those tapped holes are already in the bulkhead somewhere. That's good. There's a lot of sideways in that, and I don't remember taking any packers out, unless they disappeared on the floor somewhere. The hole down there in the bulkhead, these are some measurements I've been given, and that hole is about 10mm lower than the opposite side. So that'll throw the steering wheel just change the rake really, won't it? I think that's pretty much going to be in the same place, but it'll just tip it a little bit. Of course I didn't fathom that bracket there for that, so I've got some spare holes there, because that hole there, and there's some holes in the upper panel which are for the accelerator rods, which I'm not using, so I can probably utilise those holes. Put a little bolting bracket there just to fix this lower part of the column too. And then this is the grommet that goes through the bulkhead, and that's a very stretched fit to get over the column, so that's tricky to get in. And one thing you might have to do when swapping that bracket over is just knock this lip out of the way to get the bolt in. They've done the same the other side, but of course not this side, because the steering wheel's never been over here. This is what I've come up with for the lower steering column mount. That bolt's welded in, a couple of mounting, well, 3 mounting points there. Those two are for the redundant throttle linkage thingy, and that one is where the flasher unit square box thingy goes through the bulkhead. So I've not had to drill any more holes in the bulkhead. So a lot of fiddling and trying and whatever. Anyway, that's done. just trying to get the steering geometry a bit right. Torsion bars are sort of about there, considering there's not enough weight on the car. The camber needs a bit of tweaking. I haven't looked at the caster, but the rack is not connected at the moment, so I'm just trying to line the wheels up just to get it something like. And I put a builder's line through here and down the other side. And this is what I've got. So measure there. I'm on the back wheels at the moment. It's going to focus. From where I'm looking, that's 112, and at the front 115. So that string's got to go out a little bit, and you have to move it a tad. So there I've got 116, and then I've got 118. Two to eight. There we are, bang on. So now have a look at the front wheel, and I say put the wheel on a plastic bag, that'll help you twist it. So there I've got, from where I'm looking, 110, and at the front I've got 110, so they're parallel, and they should be parallel to toe in, and it's toe in 3mm at the front of the wheel, so I'll leave that as parallel, which is good enough for now, and I'll connect the rack while the wheels are in that position and have another go. So done. And it's a bit of a faff on these because you have to, if you want to adjust it, I'm under the car now, and this is the front right hand side. So slack this clamp off, screw this ball joint, this track rod end, in or out to wherever you want it, and on this side you screw it the wrong way, if you know what I mean. So a left hand thread and a right hand thread on the other side, I think. Screwed it out till it just dropped in straight. Put the nut on, did the clamp on, but